You know they don't care about you, right? Talk about your company, your employer. Nothing wrong with them. They have a job, which is to keep in business. And if they feel you are in between them keeping them in business, you are going to be let go, regardless of how loyal you've been to them, how long you've been there. It doesn't even matter your productivity. If they feel for some reason you're in between them and their ability to make more money or to stay in business, you are gone. Talked to this lady the other day, legend, just got laid off, I think 18 years at the same company. No warning. She walked into work. Well, I guess she had an email the day before that says she needs to talk to HR the night before. She goes, that's kind of nerve-wracking. Goes into work, says, "You're gone, Candace." That's actually not her name, but you're gone. And she's like, "What?" And they gave her a tiny little severance package, a couple $1,000 she netted, and that's it. All those years of loyalty to the company gone. Now, she's not an idiot. She knows that, but I was talking to, let's just say, someone near and dear to my heart who's in my business. And she's talking about, she knows some people who worked at a major corporation that you'd be well aware of. And that corporation, basically, after you work there 30 years or something like that, you get a pretty fat pension. She knows of people who've been working there for 29 years and basically 10 months and get let go. So don't have to pay the pension. And not a doggone thing you can do about it. Not because it's an employee at will. The company can fire you whenever they want. You can quit whenever you want. It's just the way it is. And that's the way it always should be, frankly. But the idea that the company has loyalty to you after 29 years and 10 months, I mean, they might. In fact, I worked at USA. The USA saved my financial life. I'm just telling you right now. I'm very fond of my experience at USA. They were great to me, great to their employees. Even they, when things get dicey, you're last man, you're first man out the door, man. That's all there is to it. They've laid people off. They actually did dirty deeds to some people I know, as a matter of fact, and they had to pay the price for that. But USA, it's a great company to work for. I'm very glad I did. They've done people wrong too. No matter how loyal you are to your company, it matters not. The days of loyalty being both ways is long gone. I mean, we're talking 80, 90 years. Let me give you an example. When Social Security was first passed, one of the guys who was part of the Social Security kind of promotion, I think he was like the number 3 guy in command or something like that. I want to say General Electric or Edison Company, I can't remember, but GM. But he was giving a story about his one of his guys who worked underneath him, Ernie. We'll just use that for an example. Ernie goes, "Man, Ernie has been loyal to us for years and years and years. I love Ernie, but he's losing his skill set. He's becoming a detriment to the company. But I can't let him go because he's been here so long because he's going to go into the abyss. He doesn't have enough money saved. He didn't know we don't have anything. There's nothing here because they didn't have pensions back then. We'll talk about pensions here in just a second." And he said, "So what else are we supposed to do?" And he's hurting the company as well. He's just not able to do the job that we need him to do anymore because he's older. But I'm loyal to him. I want to keep him on. But anyway, the point being was, he was talking to FDR, and I forgot the lady's. I want to say Barbara, but I can't remember her name. Barbara. I don't think it's Francis. Maybe it's Francis. Anyway, the lady who's in charge of that study. I think she was at University of California. Anyway, they promoted the idea of Social Security being a tool to get older people off the payroll and allow younger people who are having a harder time finding work to find work. That was one of the major reasons for Social Security. FDR said it in his notes, as a matter of fact. Eleanor said the same thing, that younger people are more geared towards rabble-rousing, revolution and whatnot, and if they can't find work, that's not good. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get these young people employed. And how do we do that? Well, one of the ways is we make it so that they can find jobs that older people right now are taking. Now, you can argue all day long about that, but that's just the fact. Them's the facts. Was that the only reason for Social Security? Of course not. But in this case, Ernie needed some income because he was going to be destitute without it, and Social Security was a way to resolve that. Now, people say, well, how about pensions? Are you not familiar with ERISA? Why do they invent ERISA? Because in front of the Senate Health, Education, Welfare Committee, I think is what it's called, they had person after person after person testify that they thought they're getting a pension from Studebaker, from whatever company, and after a certain amount of time, they were said, "No, sorry, we're going to let you go." And this is still happening today. So, hey, I had 18 years in, and they said, "We're going to let you go." Like, what? So I don't get a pension? Nope. That's why we have ERISA. In fact, I was just listening to my man Merle Travis singing a song called "Dark as a Dungeon," talk about the coal miners. and how coal miners would go down to the dungeon, the coal mine. They couldn't stand up. They couldn't do anything. They just basically digging coal. Just tough work. And he says, and then they become essentially addicted to coal mining, that that their blood becomes black as coal, because that's basically all they know is to do coal mining stuff. In fact, some say, I'm addicted to this, almost like, and he talks about, this is written in like 1923. This is the same guy, Merle Travis, who wrote 16 Tons, by the way. It's not Tennessee Earl, whatever his name is, whatever that guy, Ernie Ford, or whatever that guy's name. It's not Tennessee Ernie Ford, it was Merle Travis. Anyway, so he talks about the coal mine. Now people get addicted to it. They they live for work, essentially. You see what I'm saying? They're saying, okay, we're just we got to keep doing what we do because that's all we know how to do. And the story is, a guy's telling this other laborer who's not in the coal mine, because I'm just grateful you don't have to be in the coal mine, because you'll basically live your whole life in the coal mine, essentially, and your lungs or your blood will become black as coal. A great song. I never heard of Merle Davis till I was reading this book today, or this article today, about in Britain, the coal miners had some kind of phantom disease with their eyes. I can't remember what it's called, optimal something, and something about their eyes were just getting screwed up because of the coal. And one of the reasons they thought this disease was happening among the British coal miners was because it was too dark down there in the coal mines. And then, so they had this big kind of controversy, health, they had workers' compensation, whatnot. The problem was that same thing did not happen in the United States coal miners. They're like, well, how come it didn't happen here? Anyway, the point being a phantom disease is because now no one ever talks about it. It's like gone, just written off as, basically, British coal miners employed millions of people, and a significant number of those people said, hey, I got this disease, and they couldn't figure out why. And they were getting workman's comp, but the workers' comp was very, very limited, so it wasn't like enough, like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get out of here. Anyway, the point being is, when they got out of the coal mine for a couple months, they were able to see just fine, but going back to the coal mine, they were bad. And we still don't know to the day what caused that, whatever, because it didn't happen in the United States. And these same coal miners, many of these same coal miners they emigrated to the United States, especially around the Civil War time, the late 1800s, because we had abundant coal mines, and we were free in terms of we were paying better wages than they're getting in Britain, because Britain had too many people competing for coal jobs. So essentially what happened is, a lot of the British Union guys say, hey, if they find that I'm part of the union, I'm going to get blacklisted, literally blacklisted. I can't get a job. So they came to the United States to emigrate. And I'm not saying it was any safe or anything like that. It's still a horrible, horrible, dangerous job. But they were able to get employment at a better rate than what they were back in the UK, which also led to the people left in the UK getting a better rate too, because there's less competition for jobs. More competition for jobs, the lower the labor cost. Oh, interesting. It's almost like immigration hurts people's, almost like massive immigration hurts people's wages. What? More supply? More supply, less demand, wages go down? Who'd have thunk it? Freaking economy. I can't wait till we flood the economics department with cheap labor from India and China and stuff. I can't wait till all these economists say, well, yeah, I thought my tenure meant something. Apparently not, because they're going to flood it with a cheap guy from India who can take my job at a fourth of the cost. Yeah, welcome to the world there, guy. Free trade, free people. Yeah, it doesn't work so well when it's you that are getting affected. Anyway, so just remember that they don't care. The companies don't care about you. They just don't. As such, you got to take care of number one, man. Number one, the company is an inanimate object. Inanimate objects have no feeling. The people who run the companies have feelings, and their feelings are towards number one. That is them. If you are in the way of number one, you are gone. Unless you're doing something to help number one, you're gone. And so always remember that. And if you are impeding number one's ability to stay afloat, you are gone. Regardless of how long you've been there, regardless of what freaking water cooler football talk you've had, it does not matter. Always remember that. Take care of yourself before you think the company does. And that's, company, government, everything. Your employer. All right, God bless.